Hello everybody, hi photo friends, photography friends. This is going to be a long one, so we've got to decide if you're going to watch the whole thing or if you're going to fast forward to just yours. And I mean, I don't mind if you do that. There might be things, along the way that you might find helpful as well. But because there is so much work turned in this week, you do what you got to do, right? Okay, so without further ado, Ben is back. Hey, Ben. So, Ben is in Unit 2, and I like that you enjoyed this. That sounds great to me. Got 5, getting up close, 2 framing, and 2 that are, 3 framing, and 2 that are low horizon. So let's take a look at those. So getting up close. I love this. Oh my gosh. This reminds me of a photo shoot that I did with my middle school students early one morning in Florida. And we got such beautiful spider webs. So I think this is lovely. I would go into Photoshop and straighten your horizon just to make it a little bit better. And this one, I really want to love because they're so cute. Little tiny daisies and their little water droplets. But it is slightly out of focus. I get the feeling maybe you were either sharpening or increasing the contrast quite a bit on this one. So it's an almost. And this is lovely. How, just this simple little blade of grass can look so pretty covered with dew. This is my favorite. This is definitely my favorite of your pictures this week. I think it is amazing. I'm thinking that this is I'm guessing it's a donkey? Not absolutely sure, but I love it. I love this super close-up. I do miss a little bit of detail here in your background, but it's okay by me. I still think it's a wonderful photo. Very detailed and excellent. And then this one I think was... What was it? Let me go back to your notes. Okay, framing. Not sure how that one's framing. It's a nice close-up though. And then this one, I think you're thinking of framing as, seeing through the trees. And you got this beautiful starburst here. I love that. I can tell you got up early in the morning and really put some effort into getting that gorgeous light on, the dewy grasses. That's beautiful. And this, is my second favorite. So pretty. I want to see it even closer. But yeah, beautiful. In fact, let's take a look. Now, I do see this one as framing, for sure. Because what you've done is you've created a frame around the light. Let me just get this arranged here real quick. And I'm wondering if you're shooting in RAW. But let's take a closer look. Those beautiful lacy details of this spider web. I don't see the spider. The spider must have vacated. But yeah, that is gorgeous. I love how it just picks up the light on every little tiny strand of silk. It's really wonderful. And I love how this little grass here is framing the whole thing. So, it's lovely. And then here we've got, I believe this is the sun and the moon in one image. This is also lovely. And this looks like it was just before sunrise. So you're starting to get that little bit of glow, but nice work on the low horizon. Ben, before I can grade your work, or Benjamin, sorry, could you please contact me? I can't really give you a grade for this because it's it was due 8 weeks ago, but I would love to discuss with you how we can, help you get through this class and do well, because you deserve to do well. Oh, there was another one. Same spider web, pretty. Okay, here's Holly. So Holly's working on Unit 10, and this is our printing assignment. And she said she did the dog at CVS, and the first was ordered from Shutterfly. They're fast, aren't they? They're really fast. Okay, and this is, let's see, okay. So this is the digital file. Just back up a little bit. Oh, we can see side by side. Excellent. So one of the things that photographers don't realize when they're shooting digitally and they're just doing like slideshows of their work is that if they do a show or if they want to sell their work, they actually have to print it out. I see a lot of changes with this Shutterfly image. And what I think has happened here is they've done kind of a JPEG thing. Like we talk about shooting in RAW, and then when you save it as a JPEG, it automatically compresses the image, so it loses information, but it increases the contrast, it increases the saturation. It's just like an automatic application of those settings. So I like this image. I think it really warmed up her skin. It warmed up the sky. I think that one turned out well. And then this one, which was the CVS image, they do that to the extreme almost. Do you see what I mean? I mean, here we have like what the natural colors actually look like. And here we have super saturated, lots of contrast. The problem is with this low quality image, we lose detail. So like here on the mouth and the eye and even the nose and, in the trees, we've lost a lot of detail. So, the beautiful eye of your pup here is just completely, totally lost all of his detail. It just looks like a little black shape. So you can see the difference there, definitely. And next we'll go to Ivy. Let's see, I'm going to make this bigger for just a second. So I can read your notes. So the sunset is the lower end store and the Bee and Flower Printing Company. The lower end had a little blur and not too shiny. Higher end was very clear and shiny. So the price difference is, really negligible, as they would say. And I agree. It's hard to take pictures of a print, but the whole exercise is for you and your eyes to see the difference. So hopefully that makes sense. I know it's hard to see others. Okay, so this one, I believe, is the original. Let me see if I can make this bigger so we can see the whole thing. Hold on a second. I just wanted to be able to see them side by side. Oh dear. Okay, so there we go. That's better. And let me move myself out of the way here. So I really like the inexpensive print. It's definitely been warmed up, super saturated, and I can see by the reflection on the image that this is like a high gloss print. But I do prefer the original. When I took a printing class in my master's, my MFA, it was so difficult. We had to get our own printer. We had to look up the ICC profiles for every paper that we used. We had to use high-end papers. We had to use, expensive inks, and practice and practice and practice and practice getting exactly what we saw on the screen. And it was so much work. And then with this one, I think he said this is the higher end image. Let me just look at your notes. Yeah, this is the higher end image. So you say it's very clear and shiny. So sharper focus. It is still warmed up in color. And don't you hate how you have to have it cropped? I usually end up having it printed. What I'll do is I'll create a new document in Photoshop, and then I drag the image on top, drag that layer on top, and then I print it and I trim it myself. Because I hate losing that original composition. I mean, this is what we're used to here. This one might print well as like an 8 by 12, rather than this looks like an 8 by 10. These pictures in the background are cracking me up. That's hilarious. So nicely done, Ivy. Okay, now here's Madison from Unit 7, and this is her food photography with interesting lighting. And I do like your choice of subject. I feel like, this is a beautiful, beautiful reflection here. I like seeing the product detail there. This one I feel like the windows are interfering with the subject. So it's a little busy. I do love this though. And I almost feel like this is the reflection from the television, is what you used as your light. Now I want to look at this a little bit closer, because I think I see some actually better images in your contact sheet. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so I'm kind of scrolling down through Madison and trying to get rid of those distracting windows. So I do like, overall, I think it's obvious that you could have used a little bit more lighting. But I do find this one interesting. I like that detail in the background. I would straighten the bowl. Just, adjust that image a little bit. So it's a really clean, you know, like product photo. Let's see if it's going to let me. Yes. And this one, you know, I just love those little bokeh lights. I'm wondering if you went ahead and ate this popcorn. Because sometimes by the time you get done with food photography, it's no longer edible. I think this would have been good because of that lighting, but I don't really understand, you know, why the popcorn's on the table now. So I think your best images are this one. And I would honestly go into Photoshop and increase the exposure a little bit. And this one, and definitely straighten your image. Okay. Madison turned in a lot of work. Okay, so we looked at pens already. Right back up to the top. And next is, and I'm going to open this up so we can read it. So Unit 7, let's take a look at that one. So this is your landscapes. Let me just move this out of the way. So we can see your images. This one is just slightly off from having a straight horizon, so I would straighten that one. It's nice otherwise. I like this one so much better. It's really pretty. And I like this little detail of the power lines. It's just framed very nicely and it's very straight. This one is a little bit on the dull side for me. But let's take a look at your contact sheet, because I see some interesting things here that I want to look at closer. Like, this is pretty wonderful, actually. Beautiful light, beautiful color. That one is nice as well. And of course, we love this pumpkin. And it's nice. Just, you know, some minor straightening maybe. This is a good example of a high horizon. You guys are so lucky to have cotton fields. And I find this one interesting as well. I don't know if that's a muddy river or muddy pond. And this one has, you know, those fence posts that help us have a focal point. And these are interesting too. I think it was Melissa that also took pictures of the hay bales. And I can tell you did a lot of walking to get that good shot. This is really pretty. And I wonder what that field is getting ready for. Is it because it's done for the year? It's been plowed? Okay, looks like that's it. So it looks like you had a fun day. And and you got a couple really good pictures out of this. Now, you said that you had trouble with the panorama, I believe. Yeah. So I wanted to show you how to fix this panorama. And it's actually really easy. So you need to crop. Go to the crop tool. And it should just be set to ratio, so you don't have any constraints. And then you just need to crop down until we get inside of the edges of the photo. And once you got that done, just hit enter. And we'll check again. Looks like we have some minor white spaces there. You can always zoom in if you want to get just a little bit, get rid of just a little bit. So you don't lose so much of it. But basically that's it. So you see how that just looks more like an actual panorama. But I think you did very well. Alright, let's see what's next. Here's Madison's portraits, and I love this first image so much. That is just adorable, and it's so well shot. It's you know, the rule of thirds, and we've got framing, and the colors are gorgeous, and you know, he's adorable. It's so funny to see, you know, like, I don't know if this was your idea or his idea, because you said that it was interesting to find out, you know, how people like to appear in their portrait. But I love this old truck, and I think it could have been a little bit better shot, maybe, you know, from a front angle and have him turning a little bit, because it looks almost like he's dividing the truck in half. But let's look at your contact sheet. Thank you. Just got my dinner. So great when you get a good model. I think you had some really good ideas here. It's just very sunny. That's why this one works so well. In the shade of the tree. Oh, he is adorable. See, that's really cute, and it has potential in front of this bush with the pink flowers, but it appears that, you know, the flower's coming out of his neck. So you have to really look at what's inside the frame and, you know, see the best way to place it. So yeah, I really do like that one. It's funny. And then this, wow, that sun was just so bright. It really just blew out all of your detail in the background. But still really cute. This one you got the lighting better. And I'm wondering if if you shot this as a raw file, because if so, I could show you how to bring back the detail in the sky. So if you could send me a raw file, we could work on that. And it's just the most exciting thing ever. Okay, so you did get a few really good shots there, Madison. And also, cropping might be in order. So you could experiment with that. You do want to keep the same image ratio, for all of your pictures. So this appears to be like 8 by 12 size, which would be like a 3:4 ratio. So if you crop it, make sure you keep that 3:4 ratio. And then here we've got Melissa's printing experiment. And it's so interesting to me how this original image, which is beautiful, and how the cheap, the cheap photo really just, they went way too far with that saturation and the contrast. So, I mean, it just almost appears like these are fake plastic tomatoes. Tomatoes are not, I mean, I guess it can be, but it just seems a little bit overdone in the tomato area. And then your expensive print, oops, wow, it is super dark. So whenever you want to do printing, you're going to have to do a print sample with an image, one of your favorites. And you can even talk to customer service and compare different papers. You can compare different surfaces, like glossy or luster or matte. And ask how they, what kind of treatment are they doing. So here, it just feels like it's so much darker. You lost so much detail. I know the paper's nicer, but yeah, I would request a refund on that one. And you could send them these examples and say, I don't understand why, your high quality service came out so dark. But, we live and we learn. But I'm sure that they would be happy to fix that print for you and send you a new one, because they want your business. I think that's just a repeat. Okay, I'm going to move this one so we can see Sydney's side by side. Okay, I'm going to look at Sydney's notes. There we go. So Sydney says, between the two, one is more shiny than the other. There's more detail on the high end. High end has better paper quality. It's more matte. Low end has a waxy coating. I totally get that. You had to take pictures and send them to your email. That's so funny. So here is your original digital photo. And then this one appears to be the one that's the cheaper one, that's more shiny to my eye. And then this one appears to be more matte. And even the lighting on the image is kind of blowing out some of our detail. But so you can tell, like, we've got this running theme here, that this is, the low end is super saturated, the colors are warmed up. So they have this, like automatic setting that they apply to every image unless you edit it yourself. And but I'm not in love with the other image either. It's also very warmed up, and we have loss of our blacks, our straight blacks. This one, wow. Those blacks are super contrasty. And so we've lost detail up here. And then down here we've lost some of the contrast, but it still looks more like your dog than the low-end image. Do you see what I mean? So it depends on the look that you're going for. Sometimes, CVS or your local drugstore it's going to work out okay. There's a lot of experimentation. But it seems like everybody got a lot out of this assignment, and I'm really pleased about that. I would never not do this assignment because it is so revealing. And it will set you up for the future if you are going to sell your prints, if you're going to have a show, if you're going to print out even for yourself. It takes experimentation, and a lot of online places will send you a sample. They'll actually send you several samples, of the different paper qualities so that you can make a more clear judgment of what you're going to be getting. So I know this has run really long, but that was a lot to talk about. So well done, everyone, and I will talk to you all soon. Good night.